What's up, everybody? This is Saint Hills. Welcome to Saudade Stories, where I share with you the stories behind the music.
Yes.
Na Saudade is the journey of an alien looking for home. An alien who is staring at the sunset, dreaming of a place where he belongs. It's in a literal sense about my journey coming from Brazil to America and how that journey of chasing my dreams has affected my relationships and changed my relationships. In a metaphorical sci-fi sense, it's the journey of a lovesick alien going from one planet to the other. It is about being alone, embracing your darkness, and becoming the light. And of course, it is about saudade, which, if you don't know what saudade is, it's a untranslatable sense of longing or state of longing. And it's literally untranslatable. I mean, you can Google that if you want to know more. The concept of the album first started coming to life when I was here in San Francisco, I think second year into my university education and experience. I came from Brazil to the United States, to San Francisco, California, in a student visa. And the concept first started coming to mind because I came to America with this dream of finding a space here and making my career as an artist here, because I really admired the music that came out of California. I mean, like, this is one of the cultural capitals of the world. And here, I realized how much I actually valued my own culture. In Brazil, I used to listen to a lot of American music and what we call international music. But when I got here, the bossa nova that was always being played by my mom was suddenly not there anymore. The samba that I could hear from downstairs in my apartment at the bar wasn't being played anymore. And so I missed that. And that's where I really came up with the idea Na Saudade, because I had this thought, is like, I found my sound in saudade. I found my sound in longing for my roots. And that's where the name came from. Na Saudade means in saudade, so like in longing. And that's where the name came from. But it grew to something much bigger than that, because I realized, like, why am I here in America if I miss Brazil right now? But when I'm there, I want to be here. So it really just made me think about my whole life and experience as a whole and being a part of two different cultures, because I lived in America. I lived in New York City for 3 years when I was very young, and those were very formative years of my brain in my life. So a part of me identifies with American culture, but then a part of me also identifies with Brazilian culture. And when we went back to Brazil, I studied in American school. So I was still in Brazil, but I was still learning American culture. When you are born and raised between borders like that, it can really make you feel like you don't belong anywhere and like you belong everywhere at the same time. That's really where this idea of, like, I'm always gonna be in saudade. I'm always going to be here in America missing my home, and in Brazil missing America. And then I started developing relationships here. So I'm kind of stuck, but it's embracing that being in between borders, being in between, being in transit, being in transition always, and embracing time, the flow of time, and the flow of relationships. Deciding as a young person, as an 18-year-old, that I'm going to leave everything I know, everything that's familiar behind, my family, my friends that I had at the time, and go to a completely new country, because I believe there's a better future for me in the arts, and I can build a better life for me there. Going through all that entire experiences and having my relationships change, that is really what inspired. And I was in that process when I made these songs. So these songs are really like a sonic picture of that whole experience and of me figuring out who I am in this world. And in that, it was a hard time to be an immigrant, even though I'm a pretty privileged immigrant because I came with a student visa. But being in America as a foreigner under the time of Donald Trump can be hard. I felt very alienated in that sense. But it wasn't the first time in my life that I felt alienated. And mind you, I mean, it's still legal. I think Biden's trying to change this, but it's still legal. It's still in documents that I have to fill out on a monthly or yearly basis as an immigrant to call people who are immigrants aliens. And I think that's when I first started thinking about this whole alien thing. Like, why are we calling other humans alien? That means like foreign, strange, you know? And we're not all that different. I know that we're not all that different because I've lived in more than one city, more than one country. And I know that we are so much more similar than we think we are. But we create these silhouettes of people, and we project all of this fear onto them, and then we alienate them. And I felt alienated here for a really long time. But then again, I also felt alienated in Brazil. It wasn't the first time I felt alienated, but it was the first time I decided to embrace feeling like the other, and feeling outcast, and feeling, you know, like not accepted, and not standard, you know? And so that experience of like realizing that you come to paradise, where I thought California could be paradise as a young person, but then you realize that you're going to be alienated in paradise for different reasons. And so it's really just about embracing who you are, being yourself. And those are also the experiences that influenced me to create this album the way that I did. That was it for today's episode. Stay tuned for the next Saudade story. That was good. Wild Jaime appears in the text.
Oh yeah.
I've been